We're going to be talking about the solar system, and I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey through the solar system. Now, the solar system was formed approximately 4.7 billion years ago and consists of the sun, the planets, dwarf planets, and other astronomical objects that are bound in the sun's orbit. This formation was caused by the collapse of a giant cloud of molecular dust, and the mass at the center was formed to become the sun. And there was a flat disk of dust around the sun, and from there planets and other bodies would eventually form. And we'll come on to that a bit later. But 99.86% of the mass of the solar system is found within the sun. And the majority of the remaining 0.14% is contained within the solar system's 8 planets, or 9 if you're still a fan of Pluto. Now, the 4 small inner planets are known as the terrestrial planets, which are Mercury, Venus, I'd like to introduce you to someone.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, Sal?
As usual, I am functioning perfectly. All systems are ready for your instructions. What would you like to do today?
Well, I think we'd like to take a tour of the solar system.
A bit ambitious for a man of your talents, don't you think?
Don't be cheeky now. Come on, let's go.
Okay, it's your wedding.
No, it's funeral, Sal, not wedding. Funeral. It's
whatever. Better fasten your seatbelts. This could get bumpy.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sal. You're great help, always. So, if you imagine for a moment that you live in a galaxy far, far away, and you want to send a letter to Earth, what would the address be? How would you address the envelope? And how would the intergalactic postman know where to park his bicycle? Well, where are we? Well, firstly, we are actually located in an area called the Virgo Supercluster. Of famous men who have made incredible discoveries in astronomy. Many of them have been honoured with prizes, medals, and even the Nobel Prize. Some have become household names and made their careers on the back of those discoveries. Others have become lords, knights, and have been welcomed at the courts of kings and queens. They've been feted by astronomical and scientific societies, and they've been published, and several of them have become very rich. But wait a minute, where are the women in all this? How many people can actually name a famous woman astronomer? Well, the sad fact is that historically, women in astronomy were either ignored or at the very least pushed into the background, and in some cases their achievements were claimed by others. By that I mean men. And these women astronomers, they achieved a great deal actually, but historically a big problem for women in astronomy was access to education, access to astronomy training, and access to astronomical facilities. Most early women astronomers worked with and were trained by male relatives, and although this gave them an access to astronomy, their role was really secondary, and they were assistants rather than leaders. So today, I'm going to introduce you to some women who played a huge part in helping us understand the universe, and their stories are typical of the times, and often it involved personal battles against prejudice and misogyny. Probably the most famous of the early women astronomers, however, was Caroline Herschel. Now, the story of Caroline Lucretia Herschel is a Cinderella fairy tale, but it wasn't a prince bearing a glass slipper that changed her life. It was the glass of a telescope and a prince of a brother that saved her from a cindery existence. Caroline was nicknamed Lena. She was born in Hanover, Germany on March 16, 1750. The 5th of 6 children of Isaac Herschel and Anna Lise Moritzen. I mentioned earlier about the meteor or small asteroid that caused the devastation in Chelyabinsk in Siberia in Russia when it exploded over the Russian town on 15th of February 2013. And it exploded with a force of 500 kilotons. And that's 20 to 30 times more energy than was released when the atomic bomb detonated at Hiroshima. So that's powerful.
New footage of a meteorite
And here's a
exploding
short
across
video
the sky
of the
over
actual
Russian region of
Chelyabinsk
Chelyabinsk
meteor.
near the Ural Mountains. Amateur videos continue to emerge days after the meteorite struck the area, damaging buildings, shattering glass, and sending more than 1,000 to hospital with cuts and scrapes. Search teams have descended on the lake where the meteorite crashed Friday to look for remains, but have been unable to find any large pieces so far. Residents have also joined the search and claim to have found a few fragments themselves. The Russian Space Agency said the fireball was traveling 30 kilometers per second, and although it did not kill anyone, the meteorite caused around $33 million in damage. This prompted scientists on Monday to discuss the possibility of an early warning system for the planet that would encompass telescopes and anti-asteroid missiles.
How many telescopes do we need? That depends on the field of view. It's now possible to build telescopes of 4 to 8 square degrees. We need 10 to 20 telescopes around the Earth, dozens of them.
NASA estimates the meteorite was 17 meters across and weighed about 10,000 tons before entering Earth's atmosphere and exploding with nuclear bomb force.
So there you have that, the Chelyabinsk meteor. Just to frighten you even more, we've discovered in the last 20 years, we've had 24 meteor strikes of objects that have exploded with more than 20 times the explosive force of the Nagasaki and Hiroshima bombs. So 24 of those have hit the Earth in the last 20 years. The fortunate thing is that most of our planet is covered in sea, covered in water. And that's where most of them land, and we don't really feel the effect of them. But imagine if something that size, 10,000 tons, was to hit a major city. And it was very close, because the path of that meteor, obviously it was unexpected. We didn't see that one coming at all. We didn't detect it. It just appeared suddenly.